Good morning. So I'm out on a walk with my dogs, and what I've been realizing is that I also did a video yesterday about patterns. When you start realizing that there are patterns on this twin flame journey, it's like you have ups and downs. And when you start noticing them, then you can start expecting them, and then you can start noticing that you are going to get through it. It's not, I mean, you still feel the pain of everything, but you start realizing that the pain is there, and then you get over it, and then you go up a notch. It's like you're going in this upward spiral. And then when you start noticing it, then you can overcome the pain a lot quicker because you know that it's just there to overcome. And then once you overcome it, you're in a higher place. You like are in a more strengthened. You're more like you level off until the next lesson, and then you start noticing that there's like it's round. There's patterns in it. It's ma'agali. It's like a cycle. And it's just like everything else in life. It's a cycle of life. And I've been noticing that also with myself, and well, of course with myself, is the introvert extrovert thing. So when I'm going through it, I get introverted and I go inward, and those are times when I can't. I don't do videos. I don't because I'm all into myself, figuring things out. Even this morning, still, since this last lesson, I think that because everything is resonating, it's like you get this big cloud of information, and everything has to like sink in, and you can't really even talk about the lesson until all of the, like, it's like if there's a fire and there's a ton of smoke, you have to wait for the smoke to kind of disappear before you can see what happened. So I feel like in the twin flame journey, there are these cycles, and when you can pick up on the cycles, then you kind of know what to expect. And I've noticed that on these, there's like these ups and downs and ups and downs, and they become more apparent, and they become like more absolute. Like in the beginning, when I would go down, it would be kind of, I'm going down. I wouldn't really even notice that I'm doing it. Now, it's like I notice, okay, I get a lesson, tack, I go down until I can overcome it, until I can figure it out, until I can separate myself from my ego and calm myself and actually get the lesson. And then once it resonates, then it's kind of like you have to go through the whole process or cycle of mourning. When you mourn something, there's all sorts of different steps. At first you're in denial, and then you get mad, and then there's a whole it's still early, so I don't remember the whole process, but there's a whole cycle. And this is a process that I noticed years ago, is that we go through the process of mourning over all sorts of things, over relationships, over addictions, over and also ways of thought and beliefs are addictions. They're a way that our mind is used to processing things, used to thinking. Uh, and so, so, um, so once you can start noticing these patterns, then you can overcome them much more easy. And also, it's easier to be. It's not like you don't. You still feel the pain, and you still feel it to the extent of it, but you already know that you're going to overcome it, and that what the pattern is that you start looking for the lesson instead of just sitting in the feeling sorry for yourself and the bad feelings, which that also you sit in a little while, because you have to, in order to overcome something, you have to feel the pain of it. In order to get something, you have to get the lesson. You can't get a lesson without getting the lesson. I'm at a fig tree, and the figs are, it's already, see if I can find one here. So I have this tea that I already picked. It's like these flowers that come off of tree. My son is calling. I'm supposed to be taking him to the dentist this morning. Well, not supposed to. I'm going to be taking him to the dentist this morning. So I need to get back to him. I just want to finish the thought up really quick. So also when I noticed that the introvert extrovert thing, and I noticed that when you're coming out of getting the lesson, which is kind of like the depression, when you come out and you get on top, there is a window in time in which you feel exhilarated, and there's a window in time in which you're like excited about what you have going on in your life. And this is the time, like right now, that I feel is when you are in your power. It's a time of pushing things forward in your own life, and then you get some momentum going in the things that you already have going. So just some thoughts that I had, and just some realizations that I had about the twin flame journey, and how to like push yourself forward and use the momentum of the high when you're coming out of those morning stages, to use the momentum to push yourself into something that is something that pushes your own life forward. And then when you get momentum in these places, and you get some kind of, it's like adding power to power. So when you start rising in these places, and you get your head a little bit out of your butt from the twin flame journey, it's the way I see it. Like when you get into these strong moments, to take advantage of them, to push your own life forward, or to push a project that you want forward. And in knowing this, in seeing these patterns, and being able to use them to your advantage, like when you go down, allow yourself to go down, because you have to get all the way to the bottom of it in order to lift out of it. When we fight against the going down, when we get a lesson, we get a smack in our face, and then we start going through this process of mourning, of, lowering our ego, and having to realize all the places that we weren't standing up before. If we fight against it and try to prove ourselves right and make excuses and put the other person down, we can get stuck in this loop of self-pity, which doesn't help us to advance overall in our lives. It doesn't push us forward. So when we can start recognizing this, then we allow ourselves to go through it really quick. It's almost like it's becoming instantaneous. Almost instantaneous, yeah, because even going down for 2 days in my book, if you go down and you get down in the dumps for 2 days, and it's not 2 weeks, in the beginning it could have been months, and then it could be weeks, and then it could be days. And now it's getting to a point where I get the lesson. It's like, and many of the lessons that I get, I just swallow them on the spot. There is no mourning, there's nothing. It's just like, oh, yeah. Then you have this pain of, yeah, I was wrong, and an admittance, like, yeah, this is something more that I'm cleaning out of myself in order to bring myself to, righteousness, righting myself, setting myself right. So just a thought on those cycles that we have, and things that I'm noticing, that I'm going through on the twin flame journey, that help me, so that I can share, so that anybody else that is going through this can realize these patterns and use them to their advantage, and know how to deal with them, at least. How to deal with them, and how to see them, and how, sometimes it takes a while to get the lesson, because we just can't see it. We can't see where we're wrong, what we're doing. We can't see the places in which our ego is taking over, and we think that we are our ego, and we just don't see it. I mean, these are blind spots. That's why we have to overcome them. I'm 46. I'm still overcoming blind spots, even though I've always tried to live a life of truth, and honesty. And there's so many places that I'm finding that I just wasn't all the way honest, and not from a way of, any kind of purpose or doing anything on purpose. It's just places that I didn't see that I wasn't being honest in, and places that my intentions were good, or that my intentions were good, but what I was doing was off. I didn't realize it. So it's also about kind of being compassionate for our own selves, with self-love. Isn't that all what this is about? It's all about self-love, isn't it? Self-love. Love of our twin is self-love. So thank you for watching. I'm going to be taking my son to the dentist. Have a wonderful day.